Hello, everybody. So, today I'm going to be showing you all the basics of how to make a spacehey profile. I'm going to be going through how I made this specific spacehey profile and just like the basics of navigating your way around the website. And I'm going to take this tutorial as though the person watching it is very new, knows very little, or knows nothing about HTML and CSS. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna jump right in, and I'm sure there will be many disclaimers and many cuts as I say things wrong or explain things poorly. But yeah, so first things first, obviously the website, spacehey.com, it's gonna prompt you to make an account. All you need for that is a working email address and then a password. I obviously won't go through that, but it's just gonna make you like, verify that you're not a computer, and then it will ask you to verify your email address, and you need to do that in order to like make friends and like use spacehey to the full extent. So it'll give you like an email verification code, and then once you have that, you will be all set up. I am really quickly, so this is the profile I have made, and I'm really quickly going to delete. This is the main page we'll be working off, the edit profile page. And so to get to that, so we'll really quickly go home. Once you log in and verify your email address and all that, you will be faced with this. And so you're going to click on edit profile, and your profile is going to look super basic to start out. So I'm really quickly just going to delete all of the styling I have so that we can work through it together. So now my profile is view your profile. Super basic. So this is pretty much what it should look like. You obviously won't have all of like the text in there or your profile picture or your name or like any friends, but I just left that in there, and I'll really quickly go over it. So all of the text you see here, you're just going to want to implement it in these boxes, and this is all going to be separate from the actual HTML and CSS, so it's separate from the actual styling of your profile. So you're just going to type that in directly, and you can also use HTML within the text. Like you can see here, I have a line break, which makes your mom a separate line from where I say JK LOL. And if you have no idea what I just talked about, I included this Google Doc, by the way, is in the description, and this is what I'm going to be referring to throughout pretty much the entire tutorial. So I would recommend like opening this up to follow along with me. I have a link to this as well as many other resources throughout the video, which I will refer to, and this is just the basics of like HTML within text. Like if you want a text bold, this is how you would do it and whatnot. So I would recommend this if you are super new to HTML and CSS. And then additionally, your name is going to be something you edit separately. I believe it prompts you to enter your name before you even make your account fully, but you can also change that at any time. And then additionally, your profile photo is something you are going to upload separate from like the layout itself. And if your profile picture does not show up, like it won't load no matter what you do, I would recommend deleting your browsing data. I had that problem. Like I tried so many pictures, it wasn't showing up, and I just needed to delete my browsing data and refresh the site. It might just be a me problem, who knows, but if that is a issue you run into, I'd recommend just doing that. And then also really quickly, the little text I have here as well as my mood, that is going to be something you edit separately from the edit layout page. So as you can see, I have opened the edit status page, so if you're confused on how you get that text to be changed, you would just do it there. And then same with the links, that is something you do on a separate page, so edit links. And it's really important to pay attention to how the links are formatted. Like I kept pasting the entire Twitter URL and it was saying it was wrong. It literally just wants your Twitter username, not the entire link. But like my YouTube, for example, it says please enter the full thing. It wanted the full thing, but then Pinterest, it did not want the link. It just wanted my username. So just, whatever links you put in, like for example, like Spotify, you have to paste the entire link, but for SoundCloud, you would just put your SoundCloud username. So that is just something that I would keep in mind when working with links if you want to include those in your profile. And also, I will not open this page because it like shows my like account information, but your spacehey URL when you first make an account is just going to be like a bunch of random like numbers and letters. So I would recommend, if you want it to be a custom username, you can edit that and change it to like whatever you want. Like doll cards, the name of this YouTube channel was not taken, thankfully, so I made it that. Like obviously really like common usernames are already taken, but yeah, you can make it whatever you like. And we're just gonna go ahead and get started now with the actual HTML and CSS. Yeah, so the first thing we're gonna do is just some really basic stuff. I'm gonna show you guys how to add a cursor. So I have, my profile picture is this picture I found on Pinterest of Hamza with Fluttershy for My Little Pony. And so I found this Fluttershy cursor. This is on the Google Doc, this cursor site. Find any cursor you want. You will copy and paste option 1, and then I put all of the like more optional, kind of like less layout centric codes in Heroes. I do want to note, it does not matter what box you put the code in, it like does not matter. So you're gonna copy and paste that, and then I delete everything after the end style div there. We're gonna save it after we add a few more things. You are just gonna copy and paste this entire thing into the Heroes box, and I'll explain what it does. This right here hides the little ugly gray scroll bar on the right over there, and then this right here makes, instead of, when you highlight text, instead of it being blue, it makes it the background pink, and you can change that to whatever you want. This will be the background, so I made it pink, and then the color of the highlighted text itself is white, and I will show you once I save it. My internet is, of course, now all of a sudden very slow. But okay, you see we have the cursor, and then the scroll bar is gone, and then now when I highlight the text, it's pink. If you have never seen this, like you have no idea what this is basically a 6-digit hex code that corresponds to a specific color. So in this case, this equals that light shade of pink you just saw. I would recommend checking out these resources right here if you are completely new to that and you want a way to, you know, find specific colors and whatnot. Now we are going to get into the actual layout itself. So we're going to do that in this first box here. It is really super important that every thing you do is within these style brackets that we are going to make. So all the code we do is going to be within these two. And it's also really important that the text is not in these style brackets. I have added comments in case me talking is like unbearable. I've added comments to what each like section of code does, but you do not include those in when you're pasting it into your profile. It will mess up the code. Delete these. You only want like this. You don't want this. And then also please keep in mind that literally you can make your profile look exactly like mine, or you can do whatever you want. Like I'm gonna go through like different things to change on your profile, but you can do as many or as little of them as you want. Like this is your profile. Like please do not feel like you have to do something just because I'm explaining how to do it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I just thought I would make that disclaimer. So first we are going to start with body. So body is basically the entire website. And so we are going to change the background, and I want the background to be an image. So I have this in the Google Doc, this glitter graphics site. Amazing. This is where I find literally all my graphics for pretty much every thing I do. And so once you've chosen an image, you are going to right click and copy the image address, and then you are going to paste it where it says background image URL. And I have realized I've forgotten to go over fonts. So once you do that, you've got the background image. Great. Now we're going to quickly go over fonts. This is a resource I made with fonts I like. You do not have to change the font, but I just think fonts are really fun. So the fonts that I'm using are Starborn and Nintendo DS. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to copy these first 4 lines of the font, and then you're going to paste them within the style brackets. I put them right here at the bottom. And then Starborn is another font. So I'm going to put them right there. And then body, basically by pasting this line, you're just going to want to paste the font family line within body. It makes it so that all of the text within your layout is now set to this. And then this font for some reason is very small, so I have made the font size bigger, and then I want all of the text color to be black, so I have set that color to black. And that does not mean that you cannot change the text later on. As you saw, I had like my name was in a different font. You just have to change that separately, but this just makes it so you don't have to change every single line of text individually, I guess. And then main, similar to body, is basically just this white box. So this is all of your, separate from the footer and the header at the top here. It's basically where all of your info is. And so I have made the border of that. I made it black, and I wanted it to be dotted, just a little fun thing. But you can also replace that with solid, and it will be solid, or dashed, and it will be dashed lines. There's lots of different border styles. And then additionally, I made the border like curved, so kind of corner rounded, but you can delete that if you don't want, and I'll show you guys how that looks. Beautiful. See how much we've already done within these few short minutes. All right, so next we're gonna deal with this stuff up here. spacehey does have some rules. You cannot like completely delete the header and the footer because it's like their copyright stuff and like obviously their logo, but you are allowed to edit it to make it look a bit nicer. So that is what I did. So this is this code I have highlighted is this top dark blue box here. So what we are doing is we are rounding the corners. This line of code makes it so it's not touching the top of the website. I just don't like how that looks. Again, with the border, and then I have added an inset shadow, which I will show you how that looks. And then I have just made the background the lighter blue color to match my layout. As you can see, the like little white on the around the corners is the inset border. I just think that looks super cool. And then really quickly, for some reason, as you can see, log out is like a completely different, like where did my cursor go? The logout button is like a completely different entity. So I have to change you have to change the font manually. So I'm just doing that. And then I'm making it black because all of this text will be black eventually. Okay. I was trying to figure out why my cursor kept disappearing, and it was another instance of I just needed to delete my website data, like clear my browsing data. And so yeah, and I also, for these next codes, they were not working for some reason, and I just figured it out, which brings me into my next little bit of talking, or my next talking point, I guess. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna delete the background of this like light blue container. Again, this is just personal preference. This is just something I'm doing for the sake of this layout. You can choose to leave the background alone, or better yet, just change the color of it. Before, I just had the background none line, and that was not working, and so I added this little line important here. And basically what that does is if a certain line of code for some reason is not working, and this is obviously not going to be the solution all of the time, but try just adding important with the exclamation mark in front of it. And basically what that does is it overrides HTML that already exists. So like, for example, this obviously already has a background set to this blue color, but we are saying that background none should, take priority over the light blue background color. And sometimes you don't have to put this even if HTML already exists for an element, and I'm honestly not quite sure why, but in this case we do. So now that I have that there, the background will actually disappear. Could not for the life of me figure out why, but there we go. And then this next little bit here, A corresponds to basically any linked text. So that's going to be any text that, like, when you click on it, opens a page separate from your spacehey layout. And as you can see, like, it has this little text shadow. And additionally, I want that I want the color black of all of the linked text, and I want the text shadow gone. And then when you hover over it, see how it's black? I want it pink. So that is what these lines of code do. You can obviously leave it white and delete this whole thing and change the color that appears when you hover over it based on the theme you are doing. But now that we have that, the text shadow is gone. We hover it, pink shows up when we hover over it, and it is now black. On to the next thing. This one is kind of fun. We are going to change the style of our name. So you're just going to copy and paste. And then we have added, this basically makes an outline black around the text. This makes the text pink. And then we have chosen the Starborn font, and we are making the text really big. And I got this like little code here from this resource, which I love, love, love. I cannot recommend this resource enough. If you go into the text section, which I have linked in the Google Doc in styles, you can see so many different types of text. So I believe I chose this one here. And yeah, and you can just copy and paste it into your spacehey layout. So that's pretty exciting. So once we save that, we can see that our name is now going to be really big and pink and in a fun font. Okay, next we are going to add a fun little border around the profile picture. Again, going back to this super awesome resource, you can find tons and tons of awesome image borders here. So once you find that, you're just going to copy and paste the code within these profile picture divs here, and I'll explain what's going on. So these 3 lines here correspond to a code I got from here. And then additionally, you can see I've had to add the little important tag there because I am adjusting the height of the border so that it fits all the way around my image. Now this number might need to be changed depending on the border you choose as well as your image size. But once you have done that and you save it, we can view our profile. And we have it. Awesome. Next, we are going to change the color of the online text so it is not green, as well as the image here. So you're going to take these 2 little blurbs, copy and paste them. This just changes the color of the text to black, and then this additionally changes the image, which I will really quickly show you what that looks like. So you can see we've changed the image, and how I got my image link is I'm going to be using Card. You can use lots of different things like Google Drive and Dropbox, but basically all that I did was I made a free Card account. You do not need Pro for this. I uploaded my image into Card, and then I am copying the image address. This would be like the same thing with Google Drive. Just upload your image, Dropbox, upload your image, get the link, and then copy and paste it here in between the quotation marks. The reason that you kind of take this extra step, there's really nothing stopping you from finding the image on Pinterest and then copying and pasting the link that way, but by saving it yourself and uploading it somewhere that you have control over, it makes it so, like, for example, if that person were to delete the image off of Pinterest, it would disappear from your website. So this just ensures that it does not get deleted, obviously, unless you choose to delete like it from Google Drive or the Card, whatever. And so now what we're gonna do is, you can see how we have these icons right here. I want to replace them with my own icons. So we are going to delete these, as well as make these icons right here and this little icon up here gray, just so that it kind of matches more with the color scheme. So that is what these, that is what these 2 lines of code do. And again, perfectly fine to copy and paste directly. Just please make sure to delete the comments I've made. So this deletes the icons from the contact box and then makes all the other icons on our website gray, as you can see. So now we are going to edit the contact box itself. So where it says contacting doll cards, this blue thing here, as well as the border. So I'm gonna quickly, copy and paste. I'm glad my internet is a lot faster now. So you can see I have curved the border a little bit, as well as changed the background color as well as the border color. So as you can see, the background color and the border color, I would recommend that those be the same color, and then obviously I have just curved the border. I know I keep saying obviously, I know that it is not obvious to a lot of people. It's kind of just a filler word for me, so please don't think I'm trying to be like obviously, because I know that it isn't always obvious. It's just like a version of for me, I guess. So now we are going to these headings here, like pretty much the headings throughout the whole profile, we're going to add a style to. Again, I got this style from Scripted. Highly recommend. And so by doing dot heading H4, it changes all of the headings throughout my entire profile. So what I'm doing here, I'm changing the font, and then I'm adding this little radial circle background, white, which I will show you in a second, and then I'm adding a little black outline to the text, as well as changing the color of the text to pink. So you can see it changes all of them. So you can see the white glow, as well as the font change, the color change, and like the black outline around the text. So now we're gonna get into we're gonna add our own icons next to these little links here. Again, optional. It is a little bit tedious, but I think it adds an extra oomph to your layout. And so I'm going to be using this site, which is in the Google Doc. Super awesome website. And usually I would just say to copy the image address, because I'm pretty sure this website isn't going anywhere, but I tried that, and like they're in a specific format, and for some reason it wasn't showing up on spacehey. So I ended up just downloading them, and then as you can see, I uploaded them to Card. Again, this would work the same with like Google Drive, Dropbox, any of that. And so once you've like picked out your 8 pixels for like the 8 different links, download them, upload them somewhere, what you are going to do, and this looks really confusing, but I promise it's not. You're just going to copy this like entire block here, and paste it into the bottom of where we're working. And so I have put the little, like the comment above each of them that corresponds to like what text the icon will be next to, so that you know, in case you have like specific icons for specific things. And all you're gonna do is just change the link in between these quotation marks there. Make sure not to delete the quotation marks or the parentheses or the end bracket, but literally just change the link, and you have to do that 8 times for 8 pixels, obviously, because there's 8 texts. And yeah, once I delete the comments, again, please do not keep the comments in the code. It will not work properly. We will save it, and then you can see our icons, and I just think that is so cute and so fun. So next we are going to change the border color of our URL to yellow, and then additionally make these 2 boxes right here match the style of the box right there, so you don't really have to change much. You're just gonna copy these 3 and then paste them, delete my comment. And so this is the same code that I copied from when I had it previously for our contact box. So obviously if you're using a different color, just make sure to change the color, but the rest of the code should be the same. So saved, and now we can see, super fun. And now we're gonna get into editing the boxes themselves. I do not want them to be blue, and I do not want this text to be blue. So how we go about that is these lines of code here are going to make the grid on the right, instead of this light blue color, it's going to make it white. And I know the background is white, but it's going to add a little drop shadow, which you will see how that looks. And I've made the drop shadow blue, and then I have also added in some spacing, just because the drop shadow takes up so much space. I don't want the like boxes to touch each other. So we're going to save that. Next, these block of code here makes it so that this is white and that this text is black and not blue. Boom, you can see it. And it's really just like a lot of tedious stuff to make the layout look how you want. And it takes a lot of time, but I promise it's not hard, and I promise it's so worth it. And I apologize if there's a bunch of awkward pauses and I'm talking fast or I'm not explaining things well. Please let me know if I can do anything to make these videos easier to follow. Explaining it also helps teach it to myself because I'm in no way a expert at this. So please bear with me here. And so next we're going to, again, change this style right here into the blurb section here. And again, since they are all separate, you could obviously make this contacting doll cards. You could make like this pink and then this box blue and this box yellow, like whatever you want to do, because they are separate. So yeah, you're just going to use the same color like I said as before, or obviously a different color if you want it different. And now we have once it loads, the blurb box will match the other boxes that we have. My internet is now slowed down. I'm not sure if depending on what HTML you add, if that affects like how long it takes to load. Okay, it's saved. Beautiful, we see it. All right. We are almost done, believe it or not. And so again, we're gonna do the same thing but this time with the friends section down here. So that will be for both the friend space and the friend comments. This next one is optional, but just because everyone's profile picture is a different color and I want my layout to look like symmetrical in terms of colors, I am going to add a filter that makes the profile pictures gray, so like black and white, and then I don't like the harsh edges, I want to curve them, so that's what we're going to do. And I hope this can serve as kind of like a template for you guys. Like obviously, like if you do not want it black and white and you do not want the border edges rounded, delete that, but then you can add whatever code you want because this line of code corresponds to the profile pictures in our friend space section. We are going to save it and boom. Okay, awkward that it didn't load when I said boom. I will have background music in this video, so hopefully the awkward pauses aren't too awkward, but yeah, okay, so there we go. And yeah, next thing. So yeah, you can see that the containers are now touching and I don't like that. So we are going to space them out a little bit. And then I'm actually just going to do both these things at the same time because they are super simple. This red text right here, as well as this red text right here, I'm going to make it black. So yeah, this spaces out the containers, and then this makes the about me, who I'd like to meet text black, as well as like the account, how many friends, how many comments you have on your profile, black as well. So save. As tedious as it is to like save it and wait for it to load, I want to show like things bit by bit instead of doing it all at once and seeing all the changes at the end, because I think it helps to know like line by line like what exactly you're doing, so that way, you know, in the future you can like make your own layouts, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. And then when you first start out, you will not have this section here. This is actually a separate profile I made to like test out how it worked. But so yeah, this is me commenting on my own profile from a different profile I made. But so yeah, you won't have this, like you won't have any comments when you first make your profile, so you won't see this orange box here. But once you eventually make tons and tons of friends and have so many comments, it's going to be there. And I think I don't like the orange, so we're changing it. And I'm again making the profile picture gray and corners rounded. And then I'm just changing the background of the two table blocks. So yeah, black and white profile picture, corners rounded, and then This one corresponds to, I think it's the right box, and then this one, the pink one, corresponds to the left box, so the one that says first child. So save that and we'll see if I was correct. Yes, okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, and the last thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna delete the background of the footer because I don't like that it's gray, so we're just gonna delete that. And I might actually, let's see if we need to use the important tag or not. No, we don't. Okay, see, so sometimes you have to use it and sometimes you don't, like, who knows why. But yeah, that's like low-key pretty much it. Yeah, this was the reference layout I made. It's, you know, nothing super complicated or crazy. I just think it's an extra oomph to your profile. Like I said, there are tons of layouts out there free to use as long as you like credit the person who made it and whatnot if you don't feel like coding it yourself. But I think coding it yourself is so much more rewarding and you can do so much more like personalized stuff, I guess. So I think I have a few additional notes. I did check how this looked on my phone and it looks like roughly the same, obviously just on a phone screen, so you don't need to worry about that aspect. And additionally, if, for example, you want this header to be different from this header, you can change the elements individually, or like if you want to edit this, edit your profile box, like obviously you can add HTML to that as well. And to find out like what the element name is, like so to know what element you're changing the HTML of, you can use inspect element. And this is something that I low-key don't really understand, and I would kind of only recommend this if you're like more familiar with HTML and CSS. But this is how I did a lot of my when I was making this, like how to know what online is called. Obviously it's just called online, but like I would inspect it and I would see a window pops up. I don't want to show it, but a window will pop up that says what the element name is. I'm sure there's tons of tutorials online more specifically about that. I just don't want to get too much into that because I am not super familiar with that. But like I said, if you're more like advanced and like want to customize even further, I would go ahead and do that. And yeah, there are just some quick notes about spacehey, like outside of a profile. You can obviously add a blog post. I think that's super fun. Who knows, maybe I'll start adding some blogs to mine. And then yes, you can leave comments on other people's profiles. Here is the other layout I made. This one's a bit more going on. And then I commented from myself on this profile as well. I just wanted to see how the comments looked. And yeah, so spacehey.com/Lindley or spacehey.com/dollcards. Please add me as a friend. I would love to see comments on my profile, hopefully none hateful. But yeah, so add me as a friend. And if you are curious about that, because it took me a while to figure out, you can see from in my mail, like your friend requests here, like I have some friend requests. I have to look into them. I don't know how these people found me so quickly. But yeah, and you can accept, decline. So it's pretty cool. But I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys found this useful in some capacity. I know I am not an HTML and CSS god. There are still lots of things that confuse me. But I hope I explained things as best I could. If you have constructive feedback, please leave it below. Just, don't be super mean. I'm gonna probably take quite a while to edit this video because I have lots of cuts and pauses and things I need to add and delete. But yeah, as usual, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. If you run into questions or problems, please let me know. My Twitter is linked in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you need help, and I'll see you all in the next one.